Hello viewers, welcome to my Doctor Who themed YouTube channel, Who Ventures. And this is my review of Doctor Who Series 9, Episode 10, Face the Raven. So, I think my rating for this is going to be... ten out of 10, with the proviso that there is a lot of story left in it that you can actually go in and explore. So it gets 10 out of 10. So Clara has died, basically. Yeah, I'm going to start it with that. It reminds me a lot of Buffy, when Dawn was going to be sacrificed by Glory, and Buffy stepped in and sacrificed herself to save Dawn. So it was a bit like Buffy, especially the shot of Clara lying on the cobbles. That was a bit like Buffy. I was surprised that the Doctor just left her lying out there in the street. Because he knew he had to do this thing, because Ashilda had to do this deal and to take the Doctor away and trap him in the castle thing. It just left, so Clara just left her out in the street on the cobbles. If he loves her that much, why wouldn't he go and pick her up and take her in just for a cuddle or something, but just left her in the street on the floor on the wet ground? Nice. So let's go back to the start of the episode. So they're bursting into the TARDIS, and the Doctor nearly got married to a sentient plant, and he had a shark shirt on, which was awesome. And then Vixie's calling the TARDIS about his tattoo. That's counting down. And then we get the next bit is the cutest bit ever. They land the TARDIS at Rixie's house, and Rixie's got a little baby, and the doctor sews off. He's like, it's so sweet. And the Doctor said it's, and then they go on to talking about Rixie's tattoo, and the Doctor says that's very not boring, and the Doctor says, bring the new human. Actually, don't bring the new human, I'll just get distracted. And it's like, oh, the Doctor's so cute. Then Vixie's phone was wiped, and they scanned Vixie, and Vixie was retconned. And I like this, how the Doctor said, oh, there's something else. I thought that was pretty funny. Then the Doctor's trying to get his cue cards out, but he can't really use any of them because Rixie's got a death sentence. And then he starts calling him Rixie, but Rixie, that means there's some badass shit going down. So Rixie says, don't call me Rixie. And the Doctor says, and they're like, can the Doctor save him? And the Doctor says, okay, let's do this thing then. And he's trying to be all peppy and reassured. So they look for the secret pockets of alien life, and they start counting the streets. And then they go to the map room and they talk about the trap street, and Clara figures out that it must be a trap street where a cartographer makes a fake street. Then Clara's hanging out the TARDIS, and she's like weeping and being excited. And the Doctor and Vic says she enjoyed that way too much, and the Doctor saying, yeah, it's an ongoing problem. And then they have a map of the grid, because the Doctor helped Vixie to sort of fly the TARDIS so they could look for the stuff on the grid. And so they count for the trap street, and then the Doctor says, goes past the little boy, says, remember 82? And obviously there's a weird old man talking to a little kid, so his mum grabs him, and that was funny. Then reality will have glitches in it, and you said something a bit about tongue twisters and stuff. And then Clara said, got you. And then they meet on the corner, and the doctor for some reason asks Clara to get all its most annoying stuff. I don't know what the point that was for, really. Then Rigsy drops his phone and remembers a Wolverine guy over the two-faced Janus person. Then there's 50 minutes left on Rigsy's neck, and says, "Hurry up, local knowledge, they know you're in there." And then the floor is like laser trapped, and it reminds me a bit of a Pertwee. Was it the Pertwee era where he goes across these hexagonals and the floor's trapped? And then it's named species case for asylum, and it's a refugee camp, so it's very topical, this series of Doctor Who. And then Ashilda talks about Clara because she forgot she met Clara because it was all those decades and centuries ago, and she realised how pretty Clara is, and they met in the diary. And then it did say that Ashilda will have a third name, but I must have misheard something because I didn't hear Ashilda getting a new name. And then Ashilda put this tattoo on Rigsy to get the doctor's attention, and Ashilda says, "I guarantee the safety of Clara Oswald," but they all think Rigsy's a murderer, and this trap street is the most dangerous street in London because all the aliens, they're actually disguised as people. So the BBC kept had this thing, "Oh, the Jaduna in this episode," and they didn't really do anything. So it'd be interesting to see more of the trap street and see more stories about it and stuff. And there's a misdirection circuit which makes everybody look human, and they're lakeworms, then they're living in their lights, which are a telepathic field. And then you see a human helping another human, but go through the telepathic field, and it's a Ood helping a Cyberman. So I thought that dynamic was interesting, that they all live peacefully on this street and they're all different types of aliens. I thought that was really interesting. Then, so it's a big like truce on Trap Street. And then Anna, the Danish person, fled slavery with her son, who's actually a daughter, but it's safer for the daughter to be a boy, her son, and I'm not quite sure why that was, because something to do with telepathy or something, I'm not sure. And then there was a countdown. So Rigsy called the doctor to the Trap Street, which is what Ashilda was relying upon, because she's made a deal with some mysterious entity, maybe the Time Lords, or maybe it's the Veil in the next episode. So she made a deal, because otherwise the Trap Street would be compromised and these aliens wouldn't have a safe place to live. So she had to make the deal to protect the aliens. And then I thought it was interesting that they have the moral, because this is like one of the moral dilemma questions. They question children who are just becoming teenagers. It's whether you can see the morality in the because there's a guy and he steals medicine to save his wife, and do you see stealing's wrong, that's it completely, or it's okay that he stole it because he was saving his wife. So they had that moral dilemma in, so I thought that was good. But he stole from the street, so the judgment was that he deserved the punishment, and the quantum shade is the raven going and attacking the people, and then they get this sort of smoke coming out of them and they die, and he runs away from it. And I forgot what creature it was, but the guy with the glasses said, why do they run away? They always run away, and saying he should have stayed with his wife, but they always run away, and Clara ran away. So I don't get them. They needed to convince the street of Riggsy's innocence, and then Riggsy's baby was over the phone crying, and that's when Clara decided she's going to take over Riggsy's sentence. And she knows that I think she knows at that point that a shielder can't actually save her, so she sacrifices herself to save for Riggsy's daughter, so Riggsy's daughter can have a whole family, so she can have a dad. So I thought that was good that Clara sacrificed herself to protect children, which is what she did in the Snowmen episode, and she pretty much did that when the first time we saw her in Asylum of the Daleks. She used to be the junior entertainment officer protecting the children. So then she said, Jane Austen and I prank each other. I love it. Take that how you like. So I thought I was good that if Clara is bi and she loves Jane Austen. But it's a shame that there wasn't much of it actually shown in the show since we met Clara. That would have been interesting if there'd been more of that shown in the programme. Then Trap Street is meant to be a safe street, so they don't want all the aliens to start turning on each other. And then they figure out that Ashilda lied because she needed Riggsy to bring the doctor, because Jane, the Janus person, knows Riggsy's innocent and the Janus child is safer as a boy. And then there's they find the medical data, and Anna is actually alive in a stasis thing. But this is a trap to get the doctor to put his TARDIS key in the keyhole, and the doctor's trapped in the teleport bracelet. So she needs to teleport him to face this monster, because Shilda made a deal with them to protect the street, because she wanted to protect all these creatures. But Clara sacrificed herself, and because Clara heard you can pass it on, but you can't cheat it. But you can't cheat it altogether, except she could have done if they'd left it on Riggsy. Then Ashilda would have saved Riggsy and they'd be fine. But Clara took Riggsy's sentence. And then we had the big Clara saying goodbye to the doctor and telling the doctor, no, don't be a warrior, doctor, no revenge, we're both going to have to be brave. And then the doctor says, don't run, stay with me. Except she does run, and then she walks off, says, let me be brave, let me be brave, and then the raven flies straight into her. And then obviously that reminds me a bit of the Buffy when she's doing the silent screaming, because it was similar to when Buffy died, because and then she was her body on the cobbles. That was similar to Buffy on the ground too. And then the doctor was really mad at Ashilda. But Clara was going to sacrifice herself eventually at some point anyway. She was always going to be in danger because she would never stop being reckless. So it's kind if the doctor had just said no more Clara, you're being reckless now. But unfortunately he let her continue to be reckless and continue to have the adventures. If she'd just left when she was originally going to leave, she'd be fine and having a nice life. But no, she had to be reckless and want to be all powerful. But she did do a noble sacrifice for Riggsy's daughter. But I don't want people to hate Ashilda, because Ashilda is doing good. She's like helping all these lost souls. She is helping all these lost souls on this street. So she is doing good. So, and it is Clara's choice. But obviously the doctor's incredibly angry with Ashilda, and I don't want him to be angry with her. And then the bit after the credits was just a little bit, and Riggsy's, because obviously the TARDIS has been left behind because the doctor's been teleported away, so the TARDIS was left on the street corner round, and Riggsy's painted all flowers on the TARDIS and a portrait of Clara, and it's beautiful and it's lovely. So Riggsy's daughter still got her daddy, so that's what Clara's sacrifice was. I totally, my first companion proper was Rose Tyler, because I started watching it properly. I was obviously, when you grow up in Britain, you know there's something called Doctor Who, and you know there's these things called Daleks, but I didn't actively watch it until 2005, and then with Bruce Tyler, and then when it got to the Doomsday episode, I was like, it's floods, tears, and then like I couldn't watch the Doomsday episode for about 3-4 years. I couldn't watch it again, and then when Donna appeared at the very end of the Rose left the first time, it's like, oh, go away, Donna, don't want, like, oh, go away. And then when Martha was in this, he was like, yeah, don't like you, he likes Rose, obviously. I was like really obnoxious to Martha because I was so in love with Rose. But then RTG did one thing, and he brought Rose back, and then he gave her a happy ending with a spare David Tennant, and I was really happy about that. So that's kind of why I don't want Rose. I liked seeing her as the moment, but I don't want Rose to come back in the show, because when you're a Doctor Who fan, you need something to treasure, something happy to cherish. So that's why I don't want Rose to come back into the show. So I can understand how these teenagers are probably going to feel about Clara. But she did a noble thing. And don't forget, she's not the Clara's. I hope they don't reverse this in the very last episode. There's a ton of Claras all over the shop. So, but Clara Prime sacrificed herself, like she did when she jumped into the vortex. She's been very brave all the way through. And so spoiler alert, I'm going to talk about the next 2 episodes just for a minute. So the next episode is the Doctor facing the Veil, but it's a one-hander, so the Veil doesn't speak, and the Doctor's in this mechanical castle. So I'm really excited to see how Peter Capaldi does with his one-hander episode. That's going to be awesome. But the last episode, there is Jenna Coleman comes back into it, and she's a waitress in a diner, but from what Peter Capaldi's saying, I think it's a splinter Clara. So Jenna hasn't completely left the series yet, Now what I don't like about what Stephen Moffat does with what he's done with his companions that he's had, Amy and Rory and Clara, is he introduces their extended family and then just doesn't do anything with it. That's what, because RTD, he introduced all the families and they all had a story and a conclusion and hope, and they were all given attention. But with Stephen Moffat overall view of his time as showrunner, the families just get just chucked away, which is really frustrating. Because Amy and Rory, Amy didn't have a family, but then suddenly he fixes it, and then she has family at her own weddings, like, oh, mum and her little dad, and then that's it. That's all we hear from him. And then Brian Williams comes in, Rory's dad, and they have adventures, and then he's just left, and that is so annoying. And they made that thing of Rory talking about, we're okay, this is your grandson, and they only did it as an animation, and it's beautiful, but why didn't they film it? It's so frustrating. And then we had Clara's gran, and then said, oh, there's a man, and that's been tucked away. Clara's mum, we sort of know what happened to her, but there's like things that, it's just a mess basically. So, and there's like Clara's dad, what's gonna happen with Clara's dad? And then we see Clara's gran again, and then nothing. Just Moffat. So, it's like, oh, I better put some family members in, and then he writes it and invites the family members in the episode, and then it's like, Stephen Moffat, what happened to those companions' families? It's like, and it's like, it's so frustrating, Stephen Moffat. If you introduce companions' families, actually do something with them and actually complete their story too, because it's so annoying. Because basically he leaves it to the fans to actually complete the story of the companions' families. It's like, don't do that. It's so frustrating. And it's so frustrating that there's been so many potential companions in series 5 onwards, and there's like, they could have been a really cool companion. And I want Shona back. I know she's divisive, but I think a Doctor Who, there's always going to be characters who are divisive, basically. But I really like Shona. So, and then there's all this Missy looking at her iPad saying, my Clara. Like all the Missy stuff, putting Clara and the Doctor together. I hope that's going somewhere, because Stephen Moffat and just drop that, because that's the trouble with Stephen Moffat as a showrunner. He just leaves lots of dangling ends. And then I read that, and it'd be like, oh, it's like an arc that's been travelling all the way through, and you think, oh, that's so clever, and there's all this stuff. And I assume it must be in the last episode that we actually find out the truth, because I'm wondering if because it was a lot like Buffy, if something's going to happen, because when Buffy went, they actually brought her back, and then it was fine. So I'm not sure, but I think we're next gonna see Janet as a Clara Splinter, because Janet herself is still appearing in this series at the last episode, so I'm not sure. Just there's so many loose ends in Moffat's era. It's so annoying. But at least we can all do fan stories and fan art and be creative and like sort of tie up all these other loose ends and like branch off with new stories and fan art. I'm not sure. And I hope, fortunately, with what Stephen Moffat's done with his companions is they've been going around hitting people. I hope the next companion doesn't just go around casually hitting people, because it's not an attractive trait and it's not really a good role model to, because Clara hit the Doctor a few times, and the Doctor, when he first met her, when the Doctor was saying, there's usually someone with me, she hits me, it's like, that's not a good thing. And the fact that Clara just hit the Doctor and is fine with it, and then Amy hitting Rory all the time, and why? I want to know why Stephen Moffat thinks it's okay to put that in, because surely he has overriding control over whether the companion hits somebody. So Amy hit Rory all the time, and to be fair, if Rory had been hitting Amy all the time, if the Doctor hit Clara, there would be uproar and outrage, but apparently it's fine for the female companions of the Moffat era to go around hitting people. I don't think it is fine. I think it sends a completely wrong message, especially like River, she goes around hitting people. Can we stop with the companions hitting people, please, Moffat? And can you, Stephen Moffat, and can you please actually do something about companions' families and not just leave it in a big mould mess? So that is my view of this episode. It was very, very well written, and there's so many more stories to explore on that trap street. That's good. So we're going to see what happens in the next episode at the finale. So I hope there's some more questions answered about Clara and about connection to Missy and this confession dial. So I hope you have enjoyed this video, and thank you for watching. Yay! Space Cat's just come on to say hello. What did you think of Doctor Who? Did you like it? Or was you asleep? Say hello, Space Cat. So yeah, you can put space in front of words and make it awesome. So this is Space Cat and it's awesome. Goodbye. Goodbye. Okay, I hope you have enjoyed this video, and thank you for watching. Yay!